Yes, I would like to talk about Copernicus, the new EU program for Earth observation. I will talk about the transition to full and sustained operations. We are in the middle of this process. I will then touch upon data access and services and end with an outlook on the future evolution. Now, what is the progress since last year's Geospatial World Forum? When I spoke to you last year, I had one reason to be happy, namely the European Council had decided to make a budget available for the Copernicus program. This year, I have three reasons to be happy. The budget is still there. We've had a successful launch of our first satellite on the 3rd of April. And we've had the Copernicus regulation adopted, which is the basis for our future program, on the 25th of April. So I'm arguably one of the happiest persons on this planet. We also have had other events in the history of Copernicus. You can see on this slide that we have adopted a legal instrument on the data and information policy, which incorporates the principle of full, free, and open data access. I mentioned already the Copernicus regulation has been adopted, and what is still ahead of us in the course of this year is that we need to conclude agreements with both ESA and EUMETSAT, who will implement the program on our behalf. Now, what is missing in terms of the transition to operations? Well, you can see on this slide how the program evolved from a research program that started many years ago. We added a few other activities which we call preparatory actions and initial operations. And we have now the full program from 2014 onwards. The funding is secured up to the year 2020, but we obviously hope that the program will be extended beyond that point in time. Now, what does it consist of? Our first satellite has been launched a couple of days ago, as I said. It's a radar satellite. Sentinel-2 will be launched next year if all goes to plan. It's a medium to high resolution satellite with optical imaging. Sentinel-3 is a land and sea sensing satellite. It will make huge contributions to the work of Mrs. Watson-Wright and her organization, in that it will provide data on ocean temperature, ocean color, etc. Sentinels 4 and 5 are very similar instruments, the only difference being that Sentinel-4 flies on a satellite operated by EUMETSAT on a geostationary orbit, whereas Sentinel-5 covers the whole Earth in a polar orbit. Both deal with atmospheric composition. And finally, Sentinel-6 is complementary to Sentinel-3 in that it provides high-precision ocean state data. This graph shows how the various satellites will be developed and launched. It can be summarized by saying that in the next 2 to 3 years we will launch another 6 satellites. These will hopefully work for some 7 to 10 years, and then at the end of the decade, around 2020 to 22, we'll launch another series of 7 or 8 satellites. So there's a lot of work to be done. This is an image of the first satellite that I just mentioned when it was launched from Kourou a couple of days ago. And we move on to data and services. I think one of the peculiarities of the Copernicus program is that we combine space infrastructure and services. The concept may not be familiar to many of you. What it amounts to is that we set up and we pay operators who run the services on our behalf in the areas that you see in front of you: land, marine, atmosphere, emergency, security, and climate change. In this very room, we have spoken about climate change issues a couple of months ago, which again is a subject of worldwide interest to which the European Union is determined to make its contribution. The result will hopefully be value-added services, and in the end, we hope that we are going to have a Copernicus industry, so to speak, a downstream industry that will develop further services and products for our stakeholders. This graph shows the development of the various services. We are very far advanced with regard to emergency management and land monitoring. These services have existed for a couple of years. The atmosphere and marine services have equally existed for a couple of years, but are at present in a research phase and need to be moved to an operational phase. Operational means they will offer the same data of the same quality consistently year after year after year, which is not the case as long as we're talking about research projects. And then a bit later, you will see that our security and climate change services will become operational. Now, what is the nature of the data that we will make available? Basic level 1 data will be made available from all Copernicus missions. They will probably be most useful to the scientific and research community. And then our services will offer a product portfolio consisting of value-added information, such as geo-referenced data sets, analysis and predictive model outputs, a variety of commonly used projections and formats, and they will offer discovery, subsetting, and download capabilities. I mentioned already that we have a data policy that foresees full, free, and open access to data. This will be to the advantage of all of our stakeholders, but in particular, it will put small and medium-sized enterprises on an equal footing with larger companies. And this is a particular objective of my department at the Commission. We have obviously location-based applications, and we urge our stakeholders to use their potential to serve local, regional, national, and continental markets. These data should be combined with positioning data such as those from EGNOS and Galileo, which will hopefully soon see the light of day. You know that we have a number of Galileo satellites in orbit. We're going to launch a few more. 2 more Galileo satellites arrived or will arrive today in Kourou, from where they will be launched in a few days. And so our Galileo constellation will be set up step by step during the next few years. Now, what is the future evolution going to be? You have seen this graph before. The difference with this one is that this one shows how we are going to gather user requirements for our future missions. From 2018, the European Space Agency will develop the next generation of the Sentinel satellites for us. It means that by that time, 2016, 2017, we must have developed the user requirements for this future generation of satellites. And this is a process that we're going to start, obviously, in discussion with our stakeholders. Now, looking further beyond the year 2020, you may know that this is again an abbreviation for one of the activities of the European Union. The Multi-Annual Financial Framework, MFF, is our financial planning tool that usually works for 7 years into the future. So it does cover us up to the year 2020. Thereafter, we need to continue. We will keep close contact with our stakeholders, with the EU member states, who are obviously the representatives of the Copernicus users, to support the Copernicus constellation beyond the year 2020. And our planning for the deployment of the satellites that I've shown earlier in my presentation extends up to the year 2029. And I hope that all this will be implemented in the next few years. Thank you very much for your attention.